I see Tanzu Kubernetes grid in your notes. And oh boy, tell me about TKG.
Okay, changing topics. TKG, Tanzu Kubernetes Grid. Um, I'm not sure who needs this product, but let me tell you what this product is for as best as I can tell. This is for
All right.
standing up Kubernetes clusters, no matter where you need to stand them up and being able to manage them centrally. So on the one hand, everybody's going to need this at some point, but I'm not sure when and what the cadence is yet. So the Kubernetes grid it gives you an interface whereby you can, no matter what Kubernetes as a service offering that you're using, or whether you're doing it bare metal, if I remember right, you can instantiate a new Kubernetes cluster using TKG, Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, which is a VMware product. They bought this
Mm-hmm.
at some point. So there is tight integration if you are a VMware customer with TKG into vSphere and VMware Cloud Foundation. So you get that, some magical VMware value add there for TKG. But what's really happening is TKG kind of abstracts away the Kubernetes as a service stuff that you're using. Although as my brain was spinning on that, it's like, wait a minute. Okay, so Tanzu Kubernetes Grid abstracted away the Kubernetes as a service I'm using. Kubernetes is an abstraction from the actual underlying compute that I'm using. So it's like an abstraction on top of an abstraction. And depending on what's underneath that, there could be some more stuff. So there's an awful lot of layers to peel away if you're trying to troubleshoot a
Mm-hmm.
problem. And in fact, I remember a question came up during the presentation where one of the delegates said, this seems complicated or complex. And the guy presenting was like, well, why? What do you mean? And we were all like, what? You just said, in what way is it complicated? And I don't know, maybe it isn't because, okay, so Ned, I got to get your take on this actually. There's another thought about Kubernetes, which is, okay, we're all, as an industry and as operators, really enamored with Kubernetes. You and I have even done some Kubernetes very focused shows. But do we care? Do we need to care about Kubernetes? And if the argument is, I don't care about Kubernetes, I just want to consume it, I don't really care how it works as long as it works, give me the tools to make it go away so that I can just use it. You love TKG, if that's your way of thinking. If you want to know, on the other hand, the deep guts of Kubernetes and kind of handle that thing, and you want to do, kubectl and type things at the command line and see clustery magic happen, then maybe you don't like this. Yeah, but I don't know. Do we need to know Kubernetes long term, Ned?
We've gone down this path a little bit before, and I think the short answer is if you're an operator who's responsible for those clusters, yeah, you probably need to know Kubernetes a bit. If in the same way that if you're a VMware administrator, you need to know a bit about VMware. Do you need to know how to get into the ESX CLI and execute all of these arcane commands? The average admin, probably not. You can get by just using the vSphere UI and you're good to go. And I think this is a similar sort of abstraction. It's actually the thing that VMware, that they did perfectly with vSphere was they made it easy to consume virtualization, easy to do clustering, which clustering traditionally very hard to do. They gave a really nice UI and people held on to that original thick client. It was like, you'll take that when you pry it from my cold, dead hands. And eventually they forced everybody to HTML5, but there was that Flash monstrosity that no one likes to talk about. I think we're in a similar sort of situation. Kubernetes needs to be consumable through a friendly UI. VMware's good at creating friendly UIs. They are trying to do it with TKG. Will it be successful? Well, there's a lot of other products out there that are trying to do this same sort of thing. So there's a lot more competition than there was in the virtualization space 10 years ago.
Yep.
So it could be anybody's game at this moment.
I think that is the whole issue. Assuming wide enterprise adoption of Kubernetes over the long haul, that means there's going to be a lot of clusters for enterprises to manage because it's cheap and easy to build a K8s cluster. So why wouldn't you stand up a cluster that caters to a specific application that you want to run on it and then build up a different cluster that behaves in a different way? And so I've talked to a variety of companies lately that come to mind. Spectra Cloud, they're making their own take on how to manage a Kubernetes cluster. Stand up the stack. and then via policy instantiate that stack. How is it being stood up? We're Spectre Cloud. We're taking care of that for you. Rancher with version 2.4 and it's coming soon 2.5. They're betting big on you having a lot of Kubernetes clusters to manage. Okay, VMware Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, another tool that is in that world. There's a lot of technical features and functionality there. This was a rich product, so much so that I couldn't even take it all in. There was a lot there to this product, Ned, that that caught my eye. It's definitely worth looking into if you've got that need in your life.